It is just practically impossible. It is practically impossible to be a perfect parent. We all know that, but we also know that we all make mistakes, and unfortunately there is no undo button in the real world. But we can be better parents by not repeating those mistakes. So we brought on board this morning parenting coach and counselor Pam Dyson. She's here to talk about the top 3 parenting mistakes and what we can do to fix them. Pam, good morning to you.
Good morning.
My first question would be only 3, really?
Only 3. It was hard to come up with only 3.
I bet it was, but you tell me that these are the 3 that you hear most often in your professional life.
They are.
And the first would be dismissing your child's feelings or concerns. Talk to me about that.
Well, you know, how many times have we said to a child, okay, it's just silly to feel that way. Oh, you've been mad long enough.
You've been mad long enough. I think I've heard that one before, yeah.
And, you know, if an adult said that to us, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't like to hear that.
That's true. You feel brushed aside.
You do. And children are no different. They don't feel heard, and they definitely don't feel understood if we sort of dismiss what they're feeling.
So how do we show them at that young age that we're not dismissing those feelings, that we're at least acknowledging the feelings?
Well, put a name to what you see. If you see them that they're angry and frustrated, say, you know what, it looks like you're really frustrated. So acknowledge what it is that you see. Validate what they're feeling so that they know they're going to be heard. Usually that's the first step. And then decide what you need to do. Redirect them, try to help them do something to calm down.
But at least offer them some awareness that you understand. And I find myself saying this to my 3-year-old a lot. I understand why you're upset. I would be upset too, but ... and then lay it on the line.
That's exactly what you need to do.
Okay, very good. Then, as we get into the consequences phase of this, because if they do something wrong, there needs to be some consequence to be paid.
Sure.
But we have a tendency to maybe not completely follow through on those consequences.
That happens a lot because sometimes we don't have those consequences planned out ahead of time. So we come up with them off the cuff. And then sometimes there are consequences that later we're like, I can't follow through on that. Your child leaves the bike in the driveway. Put the bike in the garage, Johnny. Johnny doesn't put the bike in the garage. 10 minutes later, you tell him again. Still no response. The 3rd time, you've had it, you're frustrated. If you don't put your bike in the garage, I'm throwing it in the trash.
Yeah, I've heard that one once
too. If you're really going to throw it in the trash, it's probably a good consequence. But most parents are probably not going to throw it in the trash.
And the child becomes aware of that.
Sure.
They're like, Mom and Dad aren't going to throw this bike in the trash. I'll leave it in the driveway.
Right. So the bike lays in the driveway. So a better alternative consequence would be if you don't put your bike in the garage, you're not going to ride it for a week.
Ooh, that's good.
And then your child has a choice. They can either leave it there and not ride it for a week, or put it away and still have their bike privileges for the week.
And yet still, you have to be willing to not allow the child to ride the bike for a week. Because if you let it slide,
that's right. You can't
cat's out of
give
the
up.
bag.
If you made that choice on Tuesday, by Thursday, you can't backtrack.
Let's talk a little bit about over-explaining. When it comes to talking with your child, you say, especially before what, age 6 or 7, there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. What do you think?
We use too many words. Cognitively speaking, children until the age of 7 really can't be rational anyway. So if you have young children and you're using too many words, they're not going to get it. It's just going to go boom right over their head. And so we over-explain things, thinking, if our child can just understand what it is I want them to do, we're going to be in a good spot here.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice? But it doesn't always happen that way. So we need to learn to use less words, stick to the subject, you know, state what needs to be stated, and then move on.
And you can't really, you know, there's a time to talk to them as a friend, but you're not talking to them when they're 3 or 4 the way you're talking to your spouse or to a friend on the phone, obviously. Maybe next time you're back, we'll talk about why somehow when they're teenagers, the irrationality comes back.
Yeah,
from 7
does
to
happen.
13, and then 13.
Yeah, it's those hormones.
That's what it is. I think that's it. Thank you very much, Pam. We have put a link to Pam's website on our website, greatdaystlouis.com. Good stuff. Thanks, Carol.
Oh, I love it. She's telling a talk show host not to talk too much to their kids. I'll try.
Save it for work, Carol.
I will. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Halloween this weekend and the holidays, of course, are right around the corner. So I bet you're going to take a lot of pictures. No better way to capture those moments than in a fabulous photo book. Entertainment TV host Nancy O'Dell knows a thing or two about those photo books, joining us live from L.A. Her new book is called Full of Love, and you teamed up with Creative Memories, and I love this quote I found. Blessed are the children of scrapbookers, for they shall inherit the scrapbooks. Hey, Nancy.
Hi, how are you? It's so true. I'm a 4th generation scrapbooker, so I've got about 50 of the albums that my mom did. I've got some that my great-grandmother did. I've even got a love letter that my great-grandfather wrote my great-grandmother back in 1896, which actually, you know, traces back to my daughter's roots because she's actually named after my grandfather, who was named after my great-grandfather, so it's just a wonderful way of keeping memories.
And with the photo book, you teamed up with a professional photographer, and in the book you have some great advice of how to do this, starting with simplify.
Yes, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to do was make that whole intimidating. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, I'm not going to scrapbook, I'm not going to make an album, because it's intimidating. But scrapbooking is not, the glue and glitter that everybody thinks it is. It really can be so simple. I mean, you can literally just put the photos in a photo sleeve if you want. And so I teamed up with Creative Memories, which is one of the most wonderful companies as far as photo albums, and I do give tips in the book to make it easy and simple. I interview a photographer who will tell you how to take easy, beautiful pictures of your children, and she's professional, but it teaches us as parents how to do it. I also interview in one chapter a child psychologist, and you were just talking about, talking to your kids and stuff. The child psychologist in the book will tell you there are few tools that are more powerful than the family photo album in creating confident, self-assured, happy children, because the minute you take something that they've done, like an A+ paper or a photograph, and you put it in the family photo album, you have just told that child you matter, you're important, you come from a family, you have a background, you have values, and you've just said you got somebody you can depend upon, and they have the visual stimulation to reinforce that. So it's just vitally, vitally important, and that's why I wanted to team up with Creative Memories to make the whole process really easy, and to tell in the book how you can make it really easy to do as well.
And we all appreciate that. We all appreciate the simplify message, because I think a lot of us, when we hear about scrapbooking, we think of it as a difficult and involved, maybe even expensive thing. So let's give some other tips that are in your book. One is about the sun. Screen the sun, you say.
Yeah, when you're taking a photograph, everybody always thinks, oh, let's put them in the sun, but it actually is really harsh, and it creates these really bad shadows. So if you want to take great pictures of people, you actually put them in kind of a soft lighting area, so maybe shaded by a little bit of tree. Of course, you don't want complete darkness, but don't take it in bright, bright sunlight. And another one is like taking simple photographs of your kids. Is, let's say your child is outside and they're on the grass and you've just taken a picture. Well, run upstairs and grab one of their dresses. As my daughter's 3, so I get one of her cute little pretty dresses that has some green in it. So then when you go to put it in a photo album, it's like you see a little bit of green here, a little bit of green there, and you automatically make a beautiful page without having to put all the bells and whistles on there if you don't want to. And so it's just simple tips like that. Creative Memories has, wonderful easy tips. I did a whole line with them because I said I totally want people to realize that it doesn't take a lot of time. Literally, I can do 10 pages in less than 10 minutes, and it's not glue and glitter. It's not all that complicated stuff. So the whole line is color coordinated. It's called the Hummingbird Collection, and I wanted to make it easy because it's so important for parents to do this. The papers are cut to fit like 4x6 photos. It's got even templates that say, put your picture here, put a 4x6 here, put around something here. I've got sayings that are already pre-printed that you can put on the pages, that may say happiness, or this was such a special day. So you don't even have to worry about writing things if you don't want to. It's just, made it very, very simple, whether you want to do it digitally or if you actually want to have, to do it the traditional way. But no matter what, even if you do it digitally, print those books out, because the special time is that you'll sit there. I can remember going through books with my mother and her teaching me lessons, and that was actually, she used it as the first time to talk to me about death when my great-grandmother passed away, and she said, I want you to know you're not going to be seeing your great-grandmother Mimi anymore, but look at all these memories you have with her. Look at all the great times you had with her. So it helped me cope with the fact that that I wasn't going to be able to see her anymore, but I had wonderful memories of the time that I did spend with her.
Well, I think a lot of us feel a little more confident that we can do it. Nancy, thank you so much.
Oh, it's so good to talk to you. Have a great day.
You too. Matt?
Carol, are you okay if we start giving away stuff on the set?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, well, how about a festive giveaway to help you set your fall table? We are giving away that guy right there, a fall flower arrangement courtesy of Walter Knoll Florist, who decorates our set with fresh flowers each and every week. This prize has a $50 value. You can register to win it at greatdaystlouis.com. Deadline to enter is 11 a.m. today. Good luck. Couldn't talk them into the couches, but they'll give you the flowers. Up next, you probably know the drill, but better safe than sorry, right? How about a little refresher course on Halloween safety? That is coming up. And we'll check in one last time on Chef Mike Johnson, see what he can do with a few veggies, some seasoning, and some chicken when we come back.